Italy's Serie A boasts the best football in the world. The greatest players. The richest clubs. The most fanatical fans. In Italy, football, il calcio, is far more than a game. It's a way of life and big business. In the summer of 1992, Italy's top clubs invested a mind-boggling £250 million on new talent and some of the biggest names in world football. And amongst those big names, England's finest, Des Walker, David Platt, and the man himself, Paul Gascoigne, who finally arrived in Rome 2 months before the start of the season and was immediately hailed as Lazio's saviour. Ironically, the club which spent most was the one with the least problems. AC Milan, defending a league title they won without losing a single game, spent a further £30 million on the strongest club squad in the world. In came East European midfielder Dejan Savicevic, 3 times European Footballer of the Year Jean-Pierre Papin, and the most expensive signing in the history of the game, Torino prodigy Gianluigi Lentini. Media magnate and club owner Silvio Berlusconi was spending such huge sums on his dream, winning both Lo Scudetto, the Serie A title, and the European Champions Cup, a historic double never before achieved by an Italian side. On paper, Milan looked unbeatable. On the first day, they looked shaky.
Oh, here's an opportunity for the captain, Senao. Oh, off the upright, he's got another opportunity here. And the frame of the goal comes to Milan's rescue because the captain of Foggia almost scored a quite remarkable goal. Milan really do need to come out of the shadows and score a goal. That's a great ball. Well, they appeal for handball against Maldini. Massaro. Lentini. Massaro now. Oh, goal! Went in off Grandini, the fullback. And with all their expensive players, it takes a substitute to unlock Foggia's defence, and a left-back who's never scored a goal in the Serie A to give Milan the lead, just short of the hour mark.
If the reigning champions were unhappy with those opening day jitters, there was far worse in store for 2 of Italy's biggest sides. Inter had the worst possible start to 92-93, Abel Balbo giving Serie A new boys Udinese a second-half lead at the Friuli Stadium. Blushes appeared to have been spared when 6 minutes later Toto Schillaci equalised from the penalty spot. But with just 4 minutes remaining, midfielder Fabio Rossito fired in the winner and pinched the points for Udinese. At the Olympic Stadium, Roma were equally embarrassed by little Pescara, Antonio Nobile scoring the only goal of the game to secure an opening day win for another Serie A newcomer. But the most attractive fixture of Week 1 was Lazio's visit to the 1991 champion Sampdoria. Paul Gascoigne not yet match fit, but there was a new star waiting in the wings, striker Beppe Signori.
And you'll see this man Mancini involved in all the set plays. He's got a great footballing brain, Mancini. Right across the area, and is it an own goal? Has it gone over the line? It has! And it's a tight atmosphere in the stadium. And a very tense one too. Here's Signori, and it's a goal! Signori has made it 2. At least let's put it back to 1-1. I beg his pardon. There's a sudden break there. Signori into the far corner. Has kept it in. Signori! And another one! Hullitz, and it's Signori again. And there's Jukovic. Oh, what a goal! Jukovic has been very impressive. Not only the goal, but everything he's done, really. And surely now Bertarelli appeals for a penalty, and it's been given. Well, that looked a dive to me, and that is what Kikuchi is saying to the referee, who is not interested. He's getting Sakurai in the lead. Who's there? Oh, the back header has gone in! And it's an own
Lazio remained unbeaten for the next month, and in week 4 the most eagerly awaited debut in the club's history finally took place. But although Gaza gave flashes of the talent Lazio paid over £5 million for, it was little Beppe Signori who continued to hog the headlines, with 7 goals in his first 5 outings, including a hat-trick against Parma. Amongst the other big clubs, Inter bounced back from that opening day shock to go 4 games unbeaten. And Toto Schillaci got back on the goal trail following his summer move from Juventus. Schillaci's replacement in Turin, Gianluca Vialli, also began to pay back some of the huge transfer fee Juventus laid out for his services, with a simple goal against Atalanta and a brilliant strike at Napoli. And despite some scares, most notably in Genoa, where David Platt marked his Serie A debut for the club with a late equaliser, Juve completed week 5 unbeaten. In the same period, Milan had a scare of Pescara, trailing 4-2 at one point, but the champions showed ominous powers of recovery. The brilliance of Gianluigi Lentini and a hat-trick from Marco van Basten saw the champions win through in a 9-goal thriller. Seven days later, Atalanta visited the San Siro. Daniele Massaro gave Milan the lead, and then Van Basten made the point safe. 2-0 to Milan. Next, one of the performances of the season.
Di Mauro. Orlando. Plenty forward here for Fiorentina. Baiano. Laudrup. Baiano. He scored! Currently on loan to Fiorentina from Milan, and he scores against them. Tassotti. Hullitz. Tassotti's cross. Oh, there's the equaliser, and it's Massaro who's got it. Fiorentina have conceded a lot of space in midfield, and in defence, Lentini. That's 2-1 Milan. Lentini and Van Basten play that neat 1-2. Then Van Basten wins the ball back for Milan. Rijkaard. Hullitz. Oh, brilliant goal! Once again, the Milan defence stays firm. And Milan soon translate defence into attack. Hullitz. Oh, it's getting very easy. Corner to Fiorentina, who need a goal at the start of this second half. They trail by 4-1. There's Effenberg, number 7, being marked by Hullitz. Oh, that's a great touch by Laudrup. Great control, great vision too to knock it to the back post. Is it in by Effenberg? A goal for Fiorentina. And quite a scramble going on now in the goal net between Effenberg and Rossi. Effenberg could be in trouble. He wanted to retrieve the ball as quickly as he could, and the referee tells him to calm down. Milan have been a little bit more cautious in this second half. They pushed up, they caught Fiorentina in an offside trap 4 or 5 times now. Here's Van Basten. Oh, it's all over now, surely. And the match now being played at training ground pace before Milan pick it up again. Van Basten, Hullitz. It's all so easy for Milan. Laudrup. Effenberg has it. Oh, they have another goal. Cassotti. Hullitz. Oh, he thought about the shot. Cassotti is the option wide. Van Basten. That's 7. Smiles all around because they'll be talking about this performance in Florence for months and months.
So, despite the terrible September floods which swamped Genoa and led to the postponement of Milan's visit to Sampdoria, the champions still entered the second month of the campaign with a clear lead at the top. And of course, that game in hand. Next up at the San Siro, Lazio.
Here's Tassotti. Up in search of Van Basten, who's so good at finding space for himself. A teasing ball into Papan arrived, and Hullet has scored! Cracking goal from Hullet.
My goodness, what a fantastic goal.
Papan, oh, he's through here. Is this another one? It has to be. Jean-Pierre Papan, 2 goals in 2 minutes for Milan. Off goes Dole. Faced by Baresi. Yes, Signori in the middle. Good cross in 2, and Victor scored. They've got one back, Lazio. 21 minutes gone, and it was set up by Dole and finished off by Aaron Victor. And here's Van Basten. Oh, pulled down. There has to be a penalty, maybe a sending off. The referee will have to sort that one out. No question at all. Van Basten brought down by Gregucci. Gregucci, I think, is still on the field. Van Basten will take the penalty kick himself. And scores! It's 3-1 to Milan. Now Dole with Gascoigne. Easing it through to Victor. Fouzer. Shooting chance for him. What a strike by Fouzer! It's 3-2. And here's Van Basten through now, and pulled down by Bonamy. There has to be another penalty. No hesitation from the referee. Fiore looking a very disgruntled figure at the decision. The foul by Bonamy, and the opportunity for Marco Van Basten to score his second goal of the game, which he duly accepts in typically flamboyant style. 4-2, and the 2-goal cushion is restored. Signori, this time he's onside. Baresi turned in vain towards the linesman. Signori, and that's a third for Lazio. 4-3. To Lentini, and a great pass there. Still Lentini, and Simone! 10 minutes to go, and it's 5-3 to Milan. And the substitute, Marco Simone, brings a smile to the face of Fabio Capello.
Milan kept up their 100% record 7 days later at Parma, thanks to goals from Jean-Pierre Papin and Stefano Aranio. They also set a Serie A record of 42 league games without defeat, a run stretching back to May 1991. But in week 8, the leaders were held to their first draw of the season by Torino, one of Serie A's toughest sides. Torino's city rivals, Juventus, having succumbed to their first defeat of the season at Inter in week 7, bounced straight back. The recovery was thanks to one man in particular, Roberto Baggio. Juve's skipper scored twice in a 5-1 win over Serie A new boys Ancona. Seven days later, he went 2 better. 4 goals against Udinese. Juventus again won 5-1. But while Juve were beginning to hit their stride, 1989 Serie A champions were struggling. Napoli won just one of their opening 6 games, and following defeat at lowly Udinese, time was running out for coach Claudio Ranieri. A result against Roma in the Derby of the South was absolutely crucial.
Zola to take it. Fonseca! They have the lead in injury time at the end of the first half. And Fonseca races towards his manager, Claudio Ranieri, to say, that one's for you. Mauro takes the throw and has it back again. Zola. Back to Mauro. Well, that's an impressive cross. Is it number 2? It is now! It's a scramble goal, but they don't care about that. So a short corner. And they have a goal. They've converted that chance.
The briefest of breathing spaces for Ranieri. Defeated Atalanta 7 days later, and the pressure was back on. And when things are going wrong, they just get worse. Next up, Milan and a rampant Marco van Basten.
Rijkaard. Here's Van Basten. He's created a little bit of space, and he's created a goal. 6 minutes in, Milan have the lead. Corradini made the mistake. It's cost his team 15 yards, and it might cost them a goal. Here's Van Basten. 2-0. 2 disturbances in the stands, which you can see now as the Napoli and Milan fans clash in the Stadio San Paolo. This isn't what Napoli need, either on or off the field. Meanwhile, back on the field, Milan are attacking again with their substitute Massaro. Erodio! Well, the Napoli fans will be even more disappointed now. Massaro. Rijkaard arriving. Van Basten took a theatrical dive. Tarantino's had a wretched afternoon trying to keep Van Basten quiet. Here's Albertini, Van Basten! Oh, while Tarantini was busy arguing with the referee, he forgot about Van Basten as well. Oh, Mauro gives it to Van Basten. That's cruel. That really is cruel. It's the first time Marco van Basten has scored 4 goals in an Italian Serie A game. Oh, they have a goal! Put the fires out. Napoli are back.
Van Basten's astonishing form cost Ranieri his job. Napoli down in the relegation zone, and in the cutthroat world of Italian football, that's just not good enough. The club owners brought back hardman Ottavio Bianchi to turn things around. Another casualty, Bruno Giorgi, ousted by people power at Genoa. Just one win in 9 games and a home defeat at the hands of Cagliari led to mass protests from the Genoese fans and Giorgi's resignation. At the top of the table though, Fabio Capello's job as secure as it gets. His squad of superstars 2 points clear with a game in hand. Over the next fortnight, Serie A was dominated by local derbies, starting at the San Siro.
Now, Donadoni. Leptini. It's a flowing move here from Milan. Van Basten now. Leptini. Oh, what a goal! Fabulous goal by Leptini. De Agostini with a shot. Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a mistake by Antonioli. De Agostini, well, it seemed such a tame shot, and it just spun away from the goalkeeper. Oh, that was a dreadful lapse in concentration by young Antonioli.
Schifo, first touch let him down. Mussi, Casagrande, Sordo, 1-0! Vialli, oh, he's free this time! That's brilliant! That is absolutely brilliant! Venturino goal! Deep in injury time at the end of the game. Still goalless then. Carnevali. Hessler, who's roamed creatively for Roma. Trying to get the better of Gascoigne. Carnevali now. Grigucci's missed it. Giannini! 1-0. Gascoigne. Here's Fuser. Fuser with a shot. Oh, that's so close to 1-1. Lazio claimed the ball crossed the goal line after it struck the underside of the bar. It just might have done, you know. Lazio just gaining in momentum as we approach the end of the game. Still Lazio 0, Roma 1. That goal by Giannini still separating the two teams. Signori will take the free kick. Gascoigne, yes, he's got it! His first goal for Lazio comes 3 minutes from the end of the Rome derby. The saviour has saved Lazio.
A great day for Gaza, but a bad one for Serie A. Juve, following that morale-boosting win over Torino, looked a fair bet to finally end Milan's unbeaten run. But they and every other club in Serie A were to be disappointed.
Simone is in the clear and has scored. Vialli now for Juventus. Not a bad ball in either. Appeals for a penalty, and it's given. The referee has given the kick. Oh, look at the fury of those Milan defenders. Now Vialli to take the kick. Baggio, of course, the regular penalty taker, not in the side. And we're into the last dramatic minute now. Vialli against Rossi. Here's Vialli, and he saved it! Driven back in by Casiraghi. And maybe justice was done.
Approaching Christmas now, and little festive cheer for Juventus, who made it 3 defeats on the trot. First at Fiorentina, including an early bath for Jurgen Kohler, and an own goal from debutant Luigi Sartor. Then a humiliating 2-1 defeat at relegation-threatened Foggia. Little to laugh about at Inter either. Milan's closest rival slumped at rain-sodden Ancona. Keeper Walter Zenga was sent off, and the remaining 10 men were well beaten 3-0. Hardly the time to visit an in-form Lazio.
Let's see what Lazio can make of it now. Fuser is there, also Signori. Signori, the coach, looking on rather worried. There's Fuser, and it's there! Fuser has done it! Signori. The Agostini and company having to scamper back now. Great pass from Signori. Fuser in for Victor! Oh, fabulous goal! Shalimov. Nacho for Sama. And Fontelan, surely! It's 2-1. Some static Lazio defending. And Fontelan nips in. Oh, we've got a good finish on now. Signori, and always the threat that they'll get caught again. Inter, Signori, who has pace and he has finish. Bursting clear, and another one. Oh, that's another fabulous goal. That's 13 now for Signori this season. And they just simply could not contain his speed off the mark. And that stunning finish.
Meanwhile, 2 of Milan's 3 December fixtures were at home and seemed to guarantee maximum points. Unfortunately, Udinese hadn't read the script. Demetrio Albertini did give the champions-elect the lead, but Argentinian striker Abel Balbo benefited from some brilliant work by Delano to pinch a point. 7 days later, Ancona made up for Balbo's lack of manners. An easy win for Milan and a brace for Jean-Pierre Papin, playing in place of the injured Marco van Basten. The only remaining Serie A fixture of '92 was Milan's game in hand, and it proved a tough one.
Free kick taken quickly, now Lombardo. Easy though for Rossi. Whipped in by Albertini and Simone! Milan go in front. Marco Simone. Relief on the Milan bench. This is Hullet. Now Tassotti has made the run in support. Not a bad cross in either, and Walker almost put through his own goal. Des Walker almost underneath his own crossbar then. Bjerkegaard. Manini. Here's Jugovic. Now Lombardo has made the forward run. This is Lombardo. Inside Baresi, and Bonetti arrives and scores! Deep into injury time. At the end of the first half, it's 1-1. Papin to Rijkaard. Oh, delightfully into the path of Ruud Gullit. And Milan's lead is restored. The 2 Dutchmen combine. And it's 2-1 to Milan.
So Milan go into '93 6 points clear, and they're still unbeaten. Few prizes then for guessing the chasing pack's New Year resolution. And Italy's biggest clubs did show a newfound resolve during January. Inter, benefiting from the midfield promptings of new signing Antonio Maniconi, won 4 on the trot. Ruben Sosa and Igor Shalimov grabbing the lion's share of the goals. Juventus managed to stop the rot, thanks in no small part to the return of Roberto Baggio, out injured since November. The grand old lady's inspirational captain had sustained a broken rib on international duty, but after 2 months' absence, it seemed like he'd never been away, with 4 goals in 4 games. South, Napoli finally found their feet, surging out of the relegation zone with 7 points in 4 games. At Lazio, Beppe Signori was still banging them in. At the halfway stage, Signori was averaging a goal a game. But guess who was hogging all the headlines? Gazza's belch into a TV interviewer's microphone led to questions being asked in the Italian parliament and a public dressing down for Lazio's English star. Milan had something to worry about as well. They were still minus Van Basten, whose ankle injury was more serious than first expected. Also, in Milan's first games of '93, the goals weren't flying in with the same frequency and the victories were less than convincing.
Now fouled then surely by Baresi. Well, he's claiming that he was pulling, or being pulled rather, and the red card has been given here. And the referee has decided that Baresi denied his opponent a goal-scoring opportunity, and he has sent Baresi off. Drama and controversy in the Olympic Stadium. Bullet. Now Tassotti. Bullet again. Neat little pass set from Tassotti, and a spanking drive by Ruud Gullit. What a goal! Oh, fabulous strike by Gullit. Giannini. Now Hessler. Oh, what a let off then. Back off the post. Roma claiming a goal. And they can't believe their misfortune.
Pepe. No foul. Donadoni. Penalty. Bissoli made contact with him. And incredibly, since Cagliari's return to Serie A, Milan have been awarded penalties in 3 matches now between these 2 clubs. Usually Van Basten has taken these penalty kicks for Milan in the last couple of seasons, but in Van Basten's absence, Jean-Pierre Papin lines himself up for a most important spot kick. Still 0-0. Papin! Oh, the goalkeeper almost got there!
The indifferent form continued, but the wins kept coming. First at Brescia thanks to Massaro's goal, then courtesy of a blatant handball by the Genoese defence, and Dejan Savicevic's successful penalty. So 17 games in, and despite a couple of shaky moments, the greatest team in the world were living up to their billing. 8 points clear and still unbeaten, a more than satisfactory half-term report for the reigning champions.
In continuazione di questo fatto facciamo i giusti scongiuri di non aver ancora perso. Cioè, fare un campionato senza perdere è importantissimo. Adesso abbiamo fatto un girone di ritorno ancora senza perdere mai. Credo che sia qualcosa di straordinario nel Milan e in Italia, per il Milan e in Italia.
Strangely, Milan's only weakness appeared to be their strength in depth. The 3 foreigners rule had already led to Ruud Gullit airing his dissatisfaction in public, and he wasn't the only one unhappy with the situation.
No, non è venuto come pensavo prima, sono venuto qui per giocare in questa squadra, ma quando sono venuto non pensavo che c'era ancora 6 stranieri. Rimano ancora un anno a Milano e se la situazione non va meglio vado via.
So, things not as perfect as they seemed in the Milan camp, and at Foggia, things appeared to be taking a turn for the worse.
And here's Foggia. Mandeli calling for the ball, he has it now! And there was some very slack marking in that Milan defence as Mandeli, who's been drafted into the side for today's game, volleyed that one over the top. Still Foggia 0, Milan 0. And look at the corner count. 6 for Foggia, just 1 for Milan. Bresciani has scored! The old boy puts one over on his old club. Rijkaard. Disappointing, inaccurate pass. Seno. Bresciani. Mandeli. That's a penalty. Now, Foggia have scored 6 out of 6 penalties this season, but the man who's converted 5 of those, Biagioni, is on the substitutes bench. De Biagio has only scored 1, and Rossi in the Milan goal has already saved a penalty this season from Gianluca Vialli. Foggia with a chance to make it 2-0. And De Biagio has his spot kick save. Donadoni, Hullet, has Papao waiting in the middle, finds Papao, 1-1, and Milan are back with a vengeance. Just a few minutes after Rossi saves a penalty, Jean-Pierre Papin heads Milan level. And all the doubts about Milan's long unbeaten run coming to an end are dispelled. Donadoni then to take this free kick. Papin looking for it. Rijkaard! You won't find a sweeter shots in Serie A this weekend. 2 goals now in 3 minutes. Puts Milan back in the driving seat. Biagioni to take the corner. Milan leading by 2-1. Oh, Rossi's dropped it. Seno, it's there! From full time, Foggia are level, and the man who saved a penalty turns from hero to villain and gives Foggia a lifeline.
A fright for the champions there, and after an easy home win over bottom club Pescara, including 2 more goals from the unsettled Papin, there was another uncomfortable away day, this time in Bergamo against an in-form Atalanta.
Corone. Atalanta showing more ambition now. Again appeals for a penalty as Scats goes down with Baresi in close contact. Right?
The referee's given a penalty.
He's given it, yeah.
I find that a little bit unfortunate from Milan's point of view.
Milan, 54 games unbeaten, and that incredible run is now under threat. Rambaldi will be taking the penalty kick. Rossi has saved 2 penalties for Milan this season. Saved one from Vialli, and also one recently against Foggia. Rambaldi, just a couple of paces back from the penalty spot, and he saved another one. Rossi to the rescue. Milan will claim its only justice. Rambaldi, a forlorn figure. Uranio with the header, and Papin has scored. And once again, Milan have snicked it right at the death. 5 minutes to go, and it's Papin with his 9th goal of the season, and Milan, having so nearly conceded a goal a few minutes ago with a missed penalty, have snatched it again. Well, they've got to come back at Milan, and here's Getz! 1-1! Well, an explosive finish, if nothing else.
Sebastiano Rossi, again the hero. That's 3 penalty saves on the trot now for the giant keeper. Across the city, second-placed Inter were in desperate need of such an inspirational figure. A home game with struggling Udinese seemed a formality. A 2-goal cushion at half-time appeared to confirm that. But as someone once said, it's a game of 2 halves, and Udinese took the hint. Desideri pulled one back, and then Argentinian striker Abel Balbo grabbed a late equaliser, and a vital point. Over the next fortnight, Inter maintained their unbeaten record in '93, but in tedious fashion. 2 goalless draws, first at Cagliari, then at home to Napoli. So Milan, having dropped 2 points in 3 games, saw their lead actually extend. 9 points clear at the top, and with that kind of cushion, the champions could afford to relax and express themselves a little.
Ivani is popping up all over the field in the early stages. Just done by Massaro! Oh, cracking goal by Massaro! Great start by Milan, and a quality finish by Massaro. Milan have conceded only 3 goals at home this season. 3 of those were in one match now. Stunning game against Lazio, 5-3.
Carini there showing a bit of frustration. Things aren't really going his way this afternoon.
Rather overshadowed so far, young Carini, who is nonetheless an outstanding prospect. And indeed was called up by Saki for the international squad a couple of matches ago. It goes Papan! Oh! Breathtaking football, and what a finish by Papan.
I think this is another one of those Milan masterclasses we're seeing this afternoon.
Maldini, and Papan is onside. Looking across towards the lines when there was no flag. Lentini has to score. 3-0. And the offside trap was broken then as Papan sprung forward and unselfishly into the path of Lentini, who celebrates great relief for him. He's been going through a sticky patch, and that will do his confidence no harm at all. Great drive and hit the bar to Sotti. Oh, fabulous effort.
My word, what a shot. That really was a blunderbuss. Correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but I don't think Mauro Tassotti would have scored too many goals for Milan. This really was a drive. Look at that. It's a fantastic save, actually, from Pagliuca.
No real chance of Sampdoria coming back now, but seeking a consolation goal. And hoping they don't concede anymore. They still might. Massaro, off goes Papan. Walker is with him. Papan got the better of him. And rhymes in number 4. 2 for Papan, 2 for Lentini. And Milan's dominance is complete.
Waiting for the cross, he can't get there. Savicevic can. Milan have the lead. Savicevic. The Fiorentina defence in full retreat. Still Savicevic. Oh, that's a splendid strike. He chiselled his way into the Fiorentina penalty area at speed. And wasn't that finish decisive?
Meanwhile, Inter's misery continued as once again they proved completely incapable of holding on to a lead. At Fiorentina, Ruben Sosa replied to Gabriel Batistuta's 7th-minute strike with 2 of his own, a thundering shot and a sublime free kick. But in the dying seconds, a horrible goal-mouth deflection cost them a point. 7 days later, another deflection, this time off skipper Giuseppe Bergami, and Inter were a goal behind against Atalanta. Antonio Maniconi was on hand though to save the point with a brilliant strike. Elsewhere amongst the leading pack, two notable results. First, Lazio, who despite falling 2 goals behind at Genoa and then being reduced to 10 men following Paul Gascoigne's dismissal, actually won the game. Karl-Heinz Riedler striking the decisive goal 4 minutes from time. That result disgusted the Genoese crowd, and their second mass protest of the season led to the sacking of Gigi Maifredi, their second coach of the season. Claudio Micelli became their third. For Paul Gascoigne, that sending off didn't spark the usual tirade of media abuse. His dignified acceptance of the referee's decision was actually applauded by the Italian press. Seven days later, and another expat Englishman was making the headlines. David Platt on the mark for Juventus as they inched past Napoli by 4 goals to 3, a win which put them right back in the reckoning for a UEFA Cup place. But at the top, Inter's run of 5 open up an 11-point lead, and with 2/3 of the season gone, the race for the championship was beginning to look like a one-horse race. Strangely, the season's turning point came not in the league, but in the semi-finals of the Italian Cup. Milan had cruised easily through to the last 4, so a midweek trip to Roma, currently 17 points adrift of Milan in the league standings, seemed to offer few problems. What happened next, though, became part of Roman folklore.
Now Hessler. Caniggia as well. And this is Muzzi! And the goal for Roma! Cudicini is beaten. Muzzi the scorer as Milan looked in vain towards the lines when there was no offside flag. And the goal will stand. Roberto Muzzi for Roma. Young Cudicini beaten. Baresi slips it on. Now Massaro. He has Lettini up with him in support. This is Lettini! And defied by the goalkeeper. It seemed Lettini had to score there. Released by... and Lettini couldn't steer it in. A real let-off then though for Roma. Massaro slipping it unselfishly into the path of Lettini. Still Milan pressing desperately and Roma defending equally desperately. And maybe launching a counter-attack here. Right at the death, off goes Caniggia. Onto Hessler's pass. Now. Oh, coolly done, and it's 2. Another decisive blow struck, this time by Claudio Caniggia. And Roma, quite unbelievably, have a 2-goal lead, with a short figure there of Cudicini.
Milan's first defeat in any competitive match for nearly a year. Suddenly their air of invincibility was shaken, and 4 days later, Paul Gascoigne's Lazio posed another stern test.
It's Signori now. Well read by Gascoigne. He's on the march now. Gascoigne going all the way. And the save made by Rossi, who was in the right place. But a really positive run then by Paul Gascoigne. This is Bocodi. Now Boban. Good interception by him. Finding Papan. Oh! Fabulous strike by Papan. Hardly hesitated before smacking the ball in. Goal number 12 for Papan this season. And what a master craftsman he is. Here's Gascoigne. Great save by Rossi. Oh, Gazza's so unlucky. And there's another one. And it's 2-0 to Milan. 8 minutes from half-time. It'll have to go down as an own goal of Victor. Massaro with the challenge. And it was the head of Victor that guided the ball in. Fuzer. Now, could be a chance on here. Played in towards Gascoigne. There's no flag. The goal stands. What a riposte by Lazio and from Paul Gascoigne with his third goal of the season. Well, here's Gascoigne now. Pretty impressive in the first half. We'll be hoping to build on that. It's an excellent pass to Thomas Doll. Teasing ball in. Didn't find Signori though. Only as far as Gascoigne. He's threatening to take this game by the scruff of its neck. Still Gascoigne! And he almost beat Rossi then. Just got down to save. A really enterprising start to the second half though by Paul Gascoigne, who's in the mood. Gascoigne now. Signori. Oh, Signori's through! Oh, great save by Rossi. Signori is so close to an equaliser then. In typically predatory fashion. Escaping the marking, and he couldn't beat Rossi. Gascoigne in. Signori now! He's missed it again. Two chances in the space of a few seconds. The master goal poacher. Bogoti. Dole. Now Gascoigne. Here's Crivero. There's no flag this time. Stropper. Bogoti! It's 2-2.
So, a point dropped by Milan, but Inter, still in second place, failed to capitalise, surrendering a first-half lead to Milan's midweek conquerors, Roma. However, fresh hope was just around the corner.
Tassotti should get there first and puts Milan onto the front foot. Papin calling for the ball. Here is Papin. It was a weak effort. Baresi. Scoop forward. Now here's Asprilla. That's Tassotti's foul, so Parma will have this free kick. Asprilla will take it. Oh, what a free kick! That's a brilliant strike by Asprilla. And he's turned this match head over heels.
The unthinkable had finally happened. Milan's first defeat in 58 Serie A games. Another stumbling giant, Juventus, without an away win in 4 months, and having suffered a crushing 2-0 defeat at Brescia 7 days before, had to face an Inter side who had finally woken up to the fact that they might yet have a shot at the title. Juve coach Trapattoni's worst fears were about to be realised.
Ruben Sosa now. Lethal from long range. Shooting chance for Sosa! What a strike! Well, he's in such a rich vein of form. Now that was a cracking goal from Ruben Sosa. Julio Cesar. Raffle mistake, off goes Sosa again. The warning signs are up once more. Fontelan. And support arriving through from Shalimov. It's a second goal for Inter.
7 days later, the pattern was repeated. Milan on the ropes, Inter and Ruben Sosa in particular, in irresistible form.
Aguilera turned very sharply then. Casagrande. The two combining well. Casagrande now, threading it on. A chance here, and a goal, we'll see. 2 minutes gone, and what a cracking start for Torino. Roberto Musi. Here's Musi. Movement from Aguilera ahead of him. Casagrande now, turns sharply then Casagrande. Here's Musi. Baresi comes across. Oh, and Rossi was struggling then on the cross. Aguilera too at the far post coming in. Something will let off for Milan. Excellent cross there by Musi. Made off by Hullet to Lentini. Drifting round one tackle, still Lentini. And then a dreadful pass really. Casagrande able to clear. That wasn't too clever either. So the pressure stays on Torino. Tassotti's throw. Albertini. Excellent ball in. And what a finish by Ruud Hullet. Lentini's got it back again. And then towards Hullet. Oh, what a miss.
Fontelan. Rubin Sosa now. Oh, that's a great strike for Rubin Sosa. Another goal for him. It's a delightful chip. Berti. Sosa! 2-0.
The following week, Inter had more to smile about as Roma dealt another dire blow to Milan's confidence.
Here's the corner. It goes Eranio! And Milan have pulled the goal back. It's now 2-1 on aggregate. Eranio the scorer for Milan. It goes Giannini. No, it won't count. Giannini has pulled off his shirt and is celebrating. And the referee has disallowed the goal. Spotting an infringement there. Off goes Lentini, caught though by Gazzia. And he is going to be in serious trouble now, as Lentini was sent crashing to the ground and Gazzia has been sent off. Shot from Hullet. Good save by Chavone. Down goes Papan, and a penalty. 3 minutes to go, and it's Papan against Chavone to bring the scores level. Here's Papan. Oh, and he saved it! Chavone, the hero of Roma. And they are heading now for the Italian Cup final.
Roma through to meet Torino in the final, and for Milan the end of a glorious dream. The treble of League, Cup and European Champions Cup. So heads beginning to drop at Milan, and 3 days later Napoli were ready to take full advantage, storming into a 2-goal lead at the San Siro. But the punch-drunk champions still had some reserves of strength. That and the brilliance of Gianluigi Lentini saved a point. Another chance for Inter to make up ground, and Rubin Sosa, with 10 goals in his last 11 appearances, seemed favourite to turn a tricky fixture at Sampdoria Inter's way. But as it turned out, Toto Schillaci, returning after 6 injury-blighted months, was what the Italians call il protagonista.
Berti. Rubin Sosa now. Hasn't got too many options. And the only option is to take on the Sampdoria defence single-handed. In by Schillaci, 1-0 to Inter. Gorini's cross. Schillaci. Sosa. Only Schillaci and Sosa up, but Berti's arriving now. He was a decoy man. This is Schillaci, who's already scored and now has 2. Shalimov. Berti, he took it in his stride. Away from Viekovod and past Pagliuca. Jugovic to take it. Oh, that's a great goal.
So, 8 games to go and the gap down to 7 points. Milan's lead still formidable, but not insurmountable, particularly given the identity of their next opponents.
real zest about Inter's play in their last few matches. And if only they hadn't dropped as many points at home, they've had 5 draws. They could well have been up there challenging with Milan. Now, maybe a chance! And Shanimov came in at the far post. My word, Milan were wavering there. It'll be Sosa with the kick. Chipped in, and a goal! Berti! Approaching the last minute of the first half, and the celebrations from Inter as Nicola Berti, that had only just been cautioned, gives his team the lead. Can't afford a mistake. And here's Hullet in space now. A shooting chance. And Hullet scores. It's 1-1. 7 minutes to go. And Milan have pulled it back. The final whistle is blown. The smile on Massaro's face says it all from Milan's point of view.
Inter 6 minutes from a win which would have made Lo Scudetto a realistic aim. Now with 7 games to play and 7 points to make up, surely it was all over. Not by a long chalk. Enter a resurgent Juventus and their inspirational captain Roberto Baggio.
Off goes Savicevic, that's Conte, back chasing with him. Whipped it towards Simone, and a goal for Milan! Simone! Baggio, Merla ahead of him, released by Baggio, this is Merla, and it's 1-1! Baresi stumbled. Barocchi. Now Dino Baggio, that's good work by him. This is Torricelli. Merla's gone into the middle. Merla! 2-1 Juventus. Classic strike then by Andy Merla. Merla's won it back for Juve. Now Baggio. Brilliant work by Baggio. Sprinting away from Baresi. Away from Rossi. Oh, and such composure shown at the finish by Baggio. Brilliant goal.
Suddenly Inter were back in with a chance, and the club signing of Dutch superstar Dennis Bergkamp and midfielder Wim Jonk in a £10 million deal with Ajax seemed to be inspiring their current strike force to greater and greater heights.
Shabat round a clutch of players. He still has possession, and he has a shot too! Oh, nobody was prepared to tackle Johan Sabau, and Inter paid the ultimate price. Inter really have taken to their task with renewed vigour. They have an equaliser, Rubin Sosa, and that pressure lead lasted just 3 minutes. Sosa. Negro tries to make a challenge. Still Rubin Sosa. Oh, and another goal for Inter. And another goal for Rubin Sosa. Schillaci. Now this could be an interesting counter-attack now by Inter. Sosa. Schillaci on the back post has a chance to seal it. And he's done just that.
The gap down to 5 points, and a week later it had fallen to 4.
Savicevic getting past Calori. Lentini's waiting here. He knows he should have at least aimed his shot at the target. So some more defending for the Italian champions, who no doubt also have their minds on the European Cup final next month. Team who hope to scale the Twin Peaks are being forced back here. Delano with a free kick. Belbo. Oh, Lando with a splendid drive, tipped away by Rossi.
Sosa with the free kick. This is De Agostini. In goes Schillaci. And a goal from Bergami. 9 minutes gone. Inter take the lead. Schillaci, audacious back heel. Sosa, and that's the second goal for Inter. Berti looking for Schillaci, and Sosa! It's 3-0.
The dramatic contrast in fortunes was there for all to see. Milan, without a win in 7 Serie A fixtures, had dropped 9 of their last 14 points. Inter, unbeaten in 1993, had hit their best form of the season. Suddenly they were beginning to believe they really could steal the title from under their rivals' noses.
Cosa sono io, perché io ci credo ancora, perché sono 4 punti, vedendo il Milan che non è che sta giocando molto bene, vedendo il Milan che va a Udine a solo pareggiare, si vede che è un po' in crisi. La speranza è piccola, però ancora c'è.
But behind that fighting talk, a note of worry in the shape of Milan's second-half substitute the previous Sunday in Udine. Marco van Basten, with typically perfect timing, was back, and the man who inspired Milan's incredible start to the campaign with 12 goals in 12 games didn't wait long to make his presence felt. At relegated Ancona, Van Basten's Dutch teammate Frank Rijkaard was first on the mark, but the Milan number 9 wasn't going to be left in the shade. 8 minutes before half-time, Van Basten rose to head his first goal for 5 months. An own goal just after the interval sealed the points for Milan, despite Vecchiola's consolation goal on the hour mark. Milan's first league win in over 2 months, so for Inter, a crucial home game with Lazio. Nothing but a win would be good enough.
Now maybe a chance here for Ruben Sosa, or Shalimov, who's there. Also Schillaci. Testing examination early on of Lazio's defensive qualities. Touched off to Sosa. The goal! Oh, a stunning start. Zenga celebrates. And Inter are off to a flyer. And a lack of concentration there. Luzania turned away. Berti. He has Sosa outside him. Here's Sosa now, and Schillaci! It's 2. And the first home goal in Inter's colours for Toto Schillaci.
So, with 4 games to go, 4 points the difference, and the title race very much alive. For 2 months now, all eyes had been on the Milanese clubs, but at the Olympic Stadium, Roma and Torino, in a dress rehearsal for the Coppa Italia final, stole back some of the limelight. Andrea Carnevali and Carlos Aguilera scored the pick of the goals in a game which stood at 4-4 with just moments to go. Then one final dramatic twist, a penalty to Torino, and Enzo Schifo won the game from the spot. Defeat for Roma, who since knocking Milan out of the cup hadn't won a league game. Not surprising given events off the field for the club. First, Claudio Caniggia, goal hero of that epic cup semi-final, was banned for 13 months. He failed a routine drug test following Roma's Serie A game at Napoli in March. Then club president, mineral water magnate Giuseppe Ciarapico fell victim to the purge of corrupt politicians and businessmen sweeping Italy. A lengthy jail sentence for him, and for Roma, the prospect of financial ruin. Potential disaster at Fiorentina as well. Following the dismissal of Gigi Radici in January, new coach Aldo Agroppi had managed to amass just 10 points from 15 games, and the Florence side were in danger of relegation to Serie B for the first time in over 50 years. Not surprisingly, Agroppi was dismissed, and youth coach Luciano Chiarugi took on the toughest job in Serie A. At the top, Sampdoria's challenge for a place in Europe became a secondary consideration when goalkeeper Gianluca Bagliuca was involved in a near-fatal car accident. Thankfully, Italy's #1 keeper only sustained broken bones in a smash which could have claimed his life. On the field, Samp's season was coming to a farcical end. First, their goalmouth became a swarm of bees occupying the net and delaying their home fixture against Pescara for half an hour. Fortunately, there was a beekeeper in the house. 7 days later, the comedy continued, courtesy of Pagliuca's replacement, Giulio Nucciari. Foggia stifled their sniggers and pinched the points. Among the leading pack, the form team were Parma. A late-season surge had seen them rise from 10th to 4th in Serie A. But more importantly, Nevio Scala's side had already guaranteed a place in Europe. To London, where they won the European Cup Winners' Cup at the first attempt. An incredible achievement by a side who just 3 years ago had never even played in Italy's top division. And with Milan safely through to the Champions Cup final, a European treble for Italian sides seemed on the cards. Juventus were on the verge of triumph in the UEFA Cup, following a 3-1 win in the away leg of their final against Borussia Dortmund. No English presence in that game, however. David Platt once again left out, intensifying speculation about his future in Turin. But the man himself was giving nothing away.
Nobody knows what's going to happen, I think. You know, there's been a lot of things in the newspapers, but to believe newspapers is fatal, really. Ever since I scored a goal against Belgium in the World Cup finals, I've had to live with speculation about where David Platt's going to be playing the season after next. I've never really taken any notice of it, and when it does happen, and if it does happen, then I'll speak about it. But right at this moment in time, I've got a 3-year contract at Juventus, another 2 years for it to run, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a Juventus player.
Far less doubt surrounding Des Walker. His miserable season at Sampdoria seemed almost certain to end with his transfer, and the club weren't denying it.
Of course, it's a pity. Walker is a great player, everybody knows that. And unfortunately for Walker, recently he's on the bench, and of course it's a bad situation for us, bad situation for Walker, bad situation for the English national team.
England's most famous export, Paul Gascoigne, was still enjoying life in Italy, despite a facial injury sustained on international duty which threatened to end his season. Typically, there was a bizarre solution to the problem. Enter the man in the mask, and one of the performances of the season against Ancona, Gaza doing everything but score in a 5-0 victory. Another significant statistic from that game was Beppe Signori's double strike, taking him to 25 goals for the season, and past the Lazio scoring record in Serie A, held for 20 years by the great Giorgio Canaglia. Could have done with both Gascoigne's inspiration and Signori's firepower. 31 fixture against Lazio City rivals Roma. A desperately disappointing game ended goalless and left the door open for Inter to pull back yet another point on the league leaders.
Branco with a free kick. Panucci! 1-0 to Genoa. Sousa, that's a lovely turn. Schillaci, oh, straight to the goalkeeper. That was a very disappointing shot by Toto Schillaci. It's all hands to the pumps now. Genoa leading Inter by a goal to nil. Rubin Sousa standing over the ball. He's done it! Bergami, Schillaci, Inter have won it back, this could be dangerous, Schillaci now, oh, that's a dreadful miss.
That miss is going to keep Toto Schillaci awake at night, because with 3 games left and the gap still 4 points, Inter were running out of chances. In Europe, Juventus took their chance and secured the UEFA Cup with a 3-0 home victory over Dortmund, 6-1 on aggregate. So Milan had the chance to complete a remarkable hat-trick of European victories, and with the Champions Cup final in mind, the Italian Federation moved their fixture at Cagliari to Friday night, Once again, the result was to give Inter fresh hope.
A free kick then to Cagliari. Francescoli, oh, he's lost the marking here. And Francescoli gives Cagliari the lead. A lack of concentration by Milan at the back. Lentini. Off goes Lentini again. Chance maybe to cross one in. Massaro! And it's 1-1. Great finish by Massaro. Festa going in strongly then on Ivani. And players piling into each other now. It's all very unsavoury. And the referee has sent off Festa and Ivani, to the indignation of Capello.
It is Manicone. D'Agostini. Sousa. Still Sousa. 1-0. Bonacciari tried to hold him back, but couldn't do so. And Inter's leading goal scorer has done it again. It's a goal that Inter have richly deserved. Although having said that, for all their domination of midfield and urgency of their play, they haven't had that many chances. But here's another one. Berti, and that is a penalty. This really was a rash challenge by Mancini. Berti was going away from goal and would have struggled to keep that one in play. 1-0 to Inter. Sousa with a penalty. And the referee wants it to be retaken. Yes, what's Schillaci? He was clearly inside the penalty area, but so too was a Foggia defender. Now, will Rubin Sousa's nerve hold? He has to retake the penalty. And misses! Oh! Roy. Shano sent crashing by that tackle. Xhaka. Roy. Sportingly, Bergamy puts the ball out of play so that Seno can have some attention. Foul committed by Tramezzani. And in fact, the referee has his red card out, so Tramezzani is going to be sent off. And there's some disagreement now because the referee has sent off D'Agostini, what I can only assume is a case of mistaken identity. An untidy end to the match. Inter can only blame themselves after missing a penalty after half an hour when they were leading by a goal to nil. Biagioni. Petrescu. Roy! He's equalised! 3 minutes remaining of the game. And Inter's championship hopes have been punctured by Brian Roy. And Inter are suggesting by the elbow of Brian Roy.
The title seemed all but decided, Inter's only hopes now being maximum points from their final games, 2 defeats for Milan and a playoff. The Italian title is never decided on goal difference. However, that mysterious sending-off incident in the Foggia game threw the title race into disarray. The referee admitted his mistake, Inter demanded the game be replayed, and the Italian Federation investigated the possibility. All of which appeared to throw the reigning champions off balance, because 3 days later, Marseille beat Milan in a European Cup final that Capello's side dominated, ending Milan's run of 10 straight wins in the competition. Hardly ideal preparation for a game which could decide the title. Indeed, if Inter failed at Parma or in their appeal, a point would be enough for Milan. Their opponents at the San Siro were equally desperate for at least a draw. Relegation threatened Brescia. Both sides were obviously concerned about avoiding defeat, and the first half was characterised by exchanges of half-hearted finishing. Inter were feeling the pressure against Serie A's form side. And on 15 minutes their nerve failed. A terrible mix-up following a free kick, and Meli gives Parma the lead. And worse was to come. Nicola Berti's running feud with Faustino Asprilla ended in a senseless and, giving the situation, crucial sending off. Back in Milan, the reigning champions were in no hurry. With Inter a goal down, a point would be more than enough. 100 kilometres south, Inter's strike force were in overdrive. But no matter how hard Sosa and Schillaci tried, the ball just wouldn't go in. Things were looking grim for Inter. At the San Siro, Gianluigi Lentini gave a dull match the briefest of sparks. But the game remained goalless, and even the second half injection of Ruud Gullit failed to bring the match to life. At Parma, Inter were getting more and more desperate. Defender Sergio Battistini twice pushed up and twice failed to hit the mark. Inter's despair was complete on 81 minutes. Another defensive error and Stefano Cuoghi ended their title challenge. Meanwhile, Milan was still in their "a draw will do nicely" mode. Demetrio Albertini, though, plainly hadn't read the script, scoring one of the goals of Milan's season. The Milan players were clearly embarrassed. Brescia desperately needed a point in their fight against relegation. So, surprise, surprise, when a minute later, Brescia equalised. The Milan defence parting like a latter-day Red Sea. With full-time approaching, Inter beaten and Milan level, all that was left to do was confirm the inevitable.
We're now into time added on for stoppages as Milan head towards the championship. Players just accepting the applause of the fans, and that's it. The final whistle has blown and Milan have retained the Italian championship. I don't think anything could console the Milan players, their fans, their president for the disappointment of Wednesday. But this is a pretty big consolation, and they will be back in the European Cup again next season. They've had that champagne on ice for some time. Well, it was that fantastic start to the season by Milan when they simply roared into their stride and paved the way for this title. And although it's gone a bit sour in the last few matches, well, that doesn't matter now because the title is theirs.
So, confirmation of Milan's second successive Italian championship. 5 points clear with a game to go. Amongst the top placings, Parma back into the Cup Winners' Cup following their European successes this season. Inter, Lazio and Juventus all qualified for the UEFA Cup, while Sampdoria and Cagliari were vying for that final European place on the final Sunday of the season. But the real issues of week 34 would be at the bottom. 2 clubs already down, but 4 more under threat. 2 from Brescia, Udinese, Genoa and Fiorentina will be playing in Serie B next season. For Fiorentina, after 54 years in the top flight, relegation was unthinkable. Yet it was a real possibility. One of the biggest clubs in Serie A went into the final Sunday of the campaign desperate for a win, which in itself wouldn't necessarily be enough. Defeats for at least 2 of their fellow strugglers were essential. At one stage, it seemed everything was going their way. With just 10 minutes of the season remaining, Fiorentina was 6 goals to the good against Foggia. Genoa were losing at home to Milan. Udinese were 1 down at Roma. And although Brescia were beating Sampdoria, Fiorentina were on course for automatic survival. Then, in the space of 60 seconds, it all went horribly wrong. As Foggia pulled back a goal at the Artemio Franchi Stadium, Brescia were securing victory over Sampdoria. Andrea Fortunato scored one of the most important goals in Genoa's 100-year history. And worst of all for Fiorentina, Stefano Desideri threw Udinese a lifeline at the Olympic Stadium. Back in Florence, Dan Putrescu scored Foggia's second goal in a funereal atmosphere. The Fiorentina fans had heard the news and knew their fate. So, one of Serie A's biggest names go down, the final relegation place to be decided in a playoff. And it was Udinese who won through. Brescia joined Fiorentina, Ancona and Pescara in Serie B next season. One other issue settled on that final Sunday. Cagliari's 4-0 victory over Pescara guaranteed them a place in Europe next season, and it seemed the whole of Sardinia wanted to get in on the celebrations. Italy's capocannoniere, that's top scorer to me and you, was Beppe Signori of Lazio with 26 league goals. And while Beppe took the flowers, Milan took the trophy that mattered. Baresi & Co may or may not be the best team in the world, but they've proved once again that they're certainly the best team in Italy.